In this one, we're going to start our cart app. Now, of course, the cart app handles what our building order is going to be. So when I say a building order, I mean if I add a certain amount of items to the cart, that is building this order that somebody could then pay for and check out with and go from there. Now, carts are very well used in e-commerce, so you don't really have to explain what a cart is like I just did, and it's probably very redundant information for you anyway. But the point of this app is to really bring together what this person wants, kind of like a wish list, but really it's more than a wish list because hopefully it turns into an actual purchase, and that's the idea. So to do this, we first want to close out our server, and we're going to create a brand new app called Carts. So python manage.py, and we're going to do start app carts. And if we go into Sublime Text, we'll see Carts is now a new app in here. So inside of models, this is where we're going to put our cart app. Now, I'm going to go ahead and write class cart, and it's going to be models.model. So the few things that I want to think about here as to what I'm going to actually do with this cart. Now, first of all, I might want to associate it to a user. Second, we're going to have items inside of this cart, some sort of items, which we'll talk about in a second. We also might want to have a timestamp, like when the cart was created, and then also maybe updated field, so when it was last updated. So the cart itself has a few different things here that we definitely want to have. Now, other things to consider are price, let's say subtotal price, let's say taxes or tax price or taxes total, and then discounts, if any, and then finally our total price. So all of these things in a way can be associated to the cart. So we're going to have to think about these things later. First off, I want to just get the cart items working, and then we'll talk about coming back towards these. So now the cart items, user is one of them, so we will have a user. And I'm going to go ahead and do from django.conf import settings, because we want to get the set user auth model. And then I want to get items. Now if you think back to products, and our drop-down menu in products had everything to do with product variations. So really we want to import the variation that is going to be added to that product. So the items themselves are going to be product variations, not products themselves. So we'll do from products.models import variation. So these are the two imports that I really need. So the cart, I'll do users models.foreign key, and it's settings.auth user model. Make sure that's all capitalized. And I'm going to say null equals to true and blank equals to true. I'll explain why these should be blank in just a moment. And then we'll do items equals to models.many to many field. And we're going to say variation. And then finally, we'll do timestamp equals to models.date time field auto now add equals to true, auto now equals to false. And we'll do that same thing for updated. Just reverse these two. All right. And then finally, I'll do Unicode data. So define Unicode self. I'm going to return a string of self.id, just getting the cart ID when it comes back. All right, so now before I go any further, I see that I have this many-to-many field of a variation. Now, when you really think about it, the variation, we might have multiple items of that variation, right? So back in the site, let's run the server. Perhaps I want to buy 3 iPhone covers, not just one. So the variation itself is not good enough. We need more than that. So now I'll just say class cart item, and this is going to be a model. So models.model. And this right here is going to be item equals to the variation itself. So this is going to be models.foreign key. And this is going to be a variation. And that is absolutely required. So now that we have a variation, we also, since we said quantity, we'll say quantity equals to models.integer field, or actually positive integer field, because the quantity cannot be less than positive. It has to be positive. It can't even be 0. All right, and then we'll just say default equals to 1, because that's fine. Okay, so then we might want to have the line item total, which would be the item itself, what it costs, times the quantity. And then we also might want to have the same timestamp and updated, which is not completely necessary because it's going to work with the cart itself. So again, I'll do define Unicode, and this time I'm going to return self.item.title, which is going to be the variation title that's coming through here. All right, so since we have this cart item down here, we want to change this to being cart item as well. And the reason, again, for this, it has everything to do with the quantity, because each item is going to have its own set of quantity and stuff like that. All right, so now that we've got this, let's go ahead and put it into the database, Python manage.py, and make migrations. Oops, forgot a step, and that is, since we created this app, we did not put it inside of e-commerce settings. So let's go into our local settings, and we're going to add in e-commerce into my apps. So, we're going to add in carts into my apps. And then finally, we'll do this migrations again. And we'll do Python manage.py, migrate. And then we will run the server. And that's actually where we'll leave it for now. So if you have any questions on this, let us know. Otherwise, let's keep going.